What is good, Mexit planners? Having lived in Mexico for almost 3.5 years, I've witnessed a significant transformation in the city of Merida. In this video, I'll be sharing the top 10 changes I've seen since 2019, including changes to the immigration rules, real estate prices, internet availability, transportation, and much more. Let's get into it. Starting with immigration in 2023 versus 2019, the requirements for financial solvency have increased significantly, driven largely by an increase in the federal minimum wage, which was 102.68 pesos in 2019, and a stronger peso versus the US dollar in 2023. The requirements for financial solvency in 2023 will cost you 52.77% more than in 2019. In other words, you would need $29,587 more in savings in 2023. Number two, as of late 2022, most airports have eliminated the need for a paper forma migratoria multiple, or the FMM form. Now, temporary and permanent residents of Mexico simply get an exit and entry stamp in their passports because the system is now electronic. This has been a huge change, which at one point eliminated automatic 180-day tourist visas. However, in 2023, tourists can now take advantage of the passport control kiosks, which are popping up in some international airports like Cancun and other places. These kiosks scan your passport and give you a 180-day tourist visa. It should be noted, however, that residents should stay away from these machines, and they should always see an immigration agent when exiting or returning to Mexico. Using one of these kiosk machines will mark you as a tourist and void your residency status. And point number four, moving on to who is immigrating to Merida, Mexico in 2023, more families and remote workers are moving down to Mexico. Gone are the days where the only expats are retirees sipping margaritas on the beach. Now young families are choosing to live in Merida, Mexico. Number five, because the demographics are shifting with who is moving to Merida, Mexico, there are now WhatsApp and Facebook communities for everyone, from the young under 40 crowd, the over 50s crowd, mom groups of various ages, dad groups, teen groups, and many more. There's a community for everyone in Merida, except for maybe the 20-something party crowd, but that's what Playa del Carmen is for. Are you a remote worker planning to move to Mexico and continue working in the United States? Well, check out the VPN's Essentials course. The course will explain VPN technology, tell you about critical features that you need to know, and most importantly, explain to you what your employer can see if you're using a VPN. Check it out in the link above and in the description notes below. Number six, with all the folks moving to Merida, Mexico, home prices have increased for rentals and sales by about 11 to 15% in the last couple of years. My former house, the one that I did the house tour on, was selling for 5.25 million pesos in 2019 and is now for sale for 5.9 million pesos in 2023. In 2019, that house would have cost $271,000 US dollars using the 19.36 average exchange rate for 2019. Now, that house will cost you $316,000 using the 18.6 exchange rate of yesterday. That's a 14.42% increase in property value. Number seven, Merida has grown more than the national average and is seeing an influx of people from other states in Mexico. Because of the tremendous growth, the new mode of living is high-rise apartments or multi-family developments. Many of the big homes and large lots are being demolished for apartment-style homes inside the perimeter. And outside the perimeter, cities like Cholula and Cancun are exploding with foreigners to Mexico. There was a recent report in the last Yucatan News Weekly update that more than 20% of the population of Cancun are foreigners from outside the state of Yucatan. Number eight, one big improvement is the increased internet options in areas like Cancun and Temazon. Areas that had once been dead spots for companies like Telmex, Izzy, and TotalPlay now have service. But it's still important to check what service is available before moving to one of these outside the perimeter providers. Even in remote areas like the beaches, you can now get Starlink satellite internet. I bought a Starlink satellite setup for my house as a backup and recently sold it to a friend who is desperately in need of something faster than 10 megabits. Starlink is a great option for rural or new developments that can't get Telmex, Izzy, or TotalPlay. Number 9. Sadly, something that I'm noticing with all the high rise and high density housing is an increase in traffic, especially around the numerous glorietas around 2 and 5 p.m. A drive that normally takes 7 minutes can take as much as 30 minutes during peak times. Which brings us to number 10, better transportation options. The government laid out a 10-point transportation plan last year, and you can see a huge improvement in transportation since 2019. There are now over 80 kilometers of bike lanes that were built during the pandemic. The Veniva bus service is now going around the perimeter and has expanded bus service inside the perimeter. Also, the Latram train project is being built as an above electric train system by the end of 2023. It's in construction right now, and you can see that in Centro on the east side of the city, especially near the La Plancha site. And the Maya train from Merida to Cancun is expected to be completed sometime in probably 2024. The original due date was December 2023. Which of these 10 transformations in Merida, Mexico do you find the most interesting? Leave me comments below. And for more information about what's happened in the city of Merida, check out the Yucatan News Weekly Update playlist over here. Until next time, MexitPlans Monty, I'm out.